good morning, and welcome to Tala Talks, where I share my everyday thoughts and everyday experiences. In today's video, I'm so excited to go through a couple of questions that I've been frequently asked, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna divide this into three, kind of like a trilogy, if I might say, because it's gonna be quite a lot. In total, I've summarized it to about 12 questions. I'd like to go through each and every one of them more thoroughly, so that's why I'm splitting them into 3 sections, and each video will have 4 questions. I don't know if you can see the mountain behind us. It's looking so beautiful, and right there's the ocean as well. Look at that. If I'm not mistaken, that is the second tallest mountain in Visayas, which is Mount Tanis. And we have the view of the mountains, baby, and we got the view of the ocean. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can see. It's just recently rained as well for the past couple of days, so these grass have been growing very quickly, and wow, oh, look at this view. We are so lucky. Let's go outside. I hope you are able to enjoy the sound of the waves while we go through this video. By the way, that's not mine, so every time I go out here I always see a Coke bottle and a bunch of food. I really hope it's not the locals leaving their trash, but anyway, going back to the topic, I'd really like to clean that, but it seems like if I do a brief history on my background, so there's a good context. I've been traveling for almost 6 years now. And I used to come from the corporate world. I used to have a business back at home in the city. Wow, that very friendly bird just flew by us. Long story short, I got burnt out and I decided to leave it all. Yeah, I didn't even bother to sell my shares. I just literally left it. But the good news is I had some savings. I reinvested those savings. I'm earning a very small amount of interest every quarter, and I'm using that to pay for our budgeted accommodations and food. And so if you've browsed through my previous videos, a lot of them will really be all about how to budget when you travel, because that's kind of how far my finances can stretch at the moment. And without further ado, let's begin this video. First one on the question list is, what have been the biggest challenges of island life for you? It's gonna be a bit tricky to answer this one because I guess if you really want to do something and if your heart is set out to achieve a certain goal, it depends on how high your determination is, and maybe those challenges can really seem, yeah, instead of it being a problem, it can be a good challenge. But the first one that comes to my mind is definitely perhaps not having power during certain days of the week. And sometimes this is a weekly thing where we literally lose power without notice. So one day if I'm trying to upload a video, or if I am enjoying the AC or the fan and all of a sudden the power goes out, I'm like, oh, okay, so what do we do now? This is like a perfect excuse or time to head out and get to talk to your neighbors, say hi to the community, and just really be proactive. There was one time though I did fall asleep because it was quite warm, and yeah, I just fell asleep. But also with the power outage comes with no water pump as well, so sometimes, actually all the time when there's no power, we also lose water source. So if you are cut out for that kind of lifestyle, again, keep in mind that I am staying in budgeted places. A lot of other accommodations will have generators. But so far, that's the only thing that tops my list. And also perhaps when staying in a budgeted place that doesn't have a kitchen or a fridge, I do have to find ways on how to preserve food without having to leave, because there are times when I'm tired and I don't feel like having to buy food. And so usually my go-to foods would be bananas, bread that can probably last for 3 days, which is of course kept in an airtight seal container. Sometimes hard-boiled eggs as well. They can last for maybe 2 days, 3 days, depending on the heat and the humidity. And yeah, I think those are it so far. I suppose sometimes traveling with a lot of things can be hassle when you're always having to carry them or packing and unpacking. And in my case, since I've been doing this for quite a while now, I've kind of learned how to pack with very minimal things. So the bare minimum is what I would say. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. Keep in mind, I actually didn't rehearse or think about any of these questions. I think for me it was quite important to make sure that when the questions are there, it's the first thing that comes to mind, because that's usually the right answer. And so the next question is, on the flip side, what are the most rewarding aspects of all of this experience? And it just made me smile. I don't know why, for some reason. I think it's because, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is, would I trade this for the world? And I would say no. Like, would I trade this to be earning more back at home? I would say no. Oh yeah, that's actually one thing that's a challenge of living an island life is I suppose my earnings aren't the same anymore, but I suppose that question is geared towards what's the big difference between living a city life and an island life. Back in the city, I used to earn much more, and now it's not even 1/4 of that. So I am really forced to keep it to the basics. And what are the most rewarding things? Wow, so many. I can't think of just one thing, but the first things that come to my mind is I've met the most amazing people. This is how I met my best friend Adela. We were attending yoga at the same time, the same yoga class, and we've been best friends ever since. So it's been almost 3 years now, and I can't believe it's been 3 years. It just seems like yesterday, but we've kept things fresh. We're a long distance. We call it, so for a relationship, they say LDR, long distance relationship. For ours, we call it LDS, long distance sisterhood. Yeah, she lives over at Mindanao. She's also originally from the city like I am. But yeah, she moved to Mindanao. In my case, I love Visayas and Mindanao, so I hop back and forth. Yeah, the most rewarding thing is meeting people who are meant to be in your life, who are more aligned with how you are as a person. Like-minded people who will help uplift you, who are very positive, and just basically having the same outlook in life. And I find that if you are with those kinds of people, you tend to feel a lot more at peace. And there's this saying, you are the top 5 people you hang out with, or the top 3 people you hang out with, whether you like it or not. Their emotions become yours. You seem to absorb that. Their mannerisms, their words, even the way they move. Yeah, you just become the people you hang out with. So I've been very protective with my energy sphere, and I always want to make sure that I have loving people around me. But so far, that's been the most rewarding thing, is meeting the right people and having the right people in my life. And the next one is definitely satisfaction for curiosity. It's always an adventure every day, and what is life when it's boring? Like, you want that sense of adventure. I hope the audio is good here, because I could sense some wind, which is quite nice. It's having an adventurous lifestyle. I love that. And I suppose one last thing, just to keep this question short, or the answer short, is having all of this fresh air. Oh my gosh, there's so many birds flying around us. I don't know if you noticed, but having this fresh sea air, having the birds fly around us, probably because I'm below their home. They probably live in the street. So fresh air, having like good exercise every morning. I go to yoga, or this is a nice long beach to walk. Being surrounded by nature as well, and also being woken up by birds chirping and singing and crickets, hearing crickets at night. You know, it's just that that sense of wholeness and belonging, that I am really where I wanted to be and where I'm meant to be. And it's just it's such a nice feeling to be close to nature. And I've read this somewhere where people, man and woman, have this innate connection with nature, because yeah, we are gonna be dust in the wind eventually, but yeah, it is biophilia. It is our innate connection to nature, and so we really have to be close to nature. It's just healing. It's very good for the soul. So that's a lot of rewardings that I've mentioned. Everywhere I look right now, there's so much magic going on. I feel like this place has so much magical vibes. But yeah, there's a guy over there fishing, perhaps for his dinner or his lunch, and some kids over there just enjoying the sea. And this is what we are really meant to do. This is the feeling of thriving and not trying to survive. But the next one on the list is a question that I do get asked. Yeah, do I plan on staying on this island for a long time? Let's see, what I wrote this down, but just to be sure, why or why not? So again, I've mentioned I've been traveling for almost 6 years now, and if you have itchy feet, it definitely doesn't make sense to stay in one place for so long. But having said that, I will say that the pros in getting a place for a 1-month rental will definitely be so much more cost efficient. Usually you pay a much lower price instead of having to pay per night. And so usually, as much as possible, I do want to stay in a place for minimum 1 month. And then, I don't know, I would like to go to the next place again. So that's just my personality. It doesn't mean it's the same for everybody. But yeah, the answer is I would like to stay long enough, maybe 1 month. But after that, it's time to explore. I've lived in Mindanao in one place for almost 5 months, and that was nice. That was very, very nice. Then eventually, I guess, and my best friend and I talked about this, if you're not really intentional about a place, like if you don't have plans, let's say plans to put up a business, have a family, if there aren't a list exactly, and you're just, in my case, I do have a little bit of work online, but it's very little, and you know, I am living off the interest of the investments that I've made. Yeah, I do get very curious about a lot of different places, and so yeah, after those 4 to 5 months, I felt that it was time to perhaps go see my family again in the city and travel to new heights. And my personal philosophy is, you know, there's so much to discover in this world. The Philippines alone has more than 7,700 islands, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos, that it would be nice to actually explore my own country. So yeah, I think there's a lot of pros as well in staying in one place. You can get to know more of the locals, even those who are transplants. That's what we call them. Transplants are those who are not originally from that place but have moved there. It is very, very nice to get to go to the local market as well and memorize all the prices of different vendors. You know, there's a lot of pros in staying in one place for a long time. But then eventually, I would love to explore and have a new adventure again. And let me just show you, this mountain is looking beautiful. The sun actually rises right here. So that's the east, and the west is, yeah, right behind us. But it's bouncing very nicely off the mountains just behind us. Look at this. Again, it's not gonna translate very well on this camera. many birds right now. I don't think it's catching it very well, but it's quite amazing. It's very magical right now. Next question, and I don't know if you've noticed my cell phone. I've got my little questionnaire there. And the next question is, how has living on the island changed you personally? And wow, I don't think there can really be just one answer. For sure, it's changed me for the better. It's it's not just in terms of like how I move and how I act. It's definitely how I feel. I feel a lot more calmer. I do feel like I'm in a better place. And again, even if I'm not earning even close to what I used to, I wouldn't trade this for the world. I wake up feeling so light, and I feel like I've been cradled by Mother Nature. It just feels wonderful. And when I used to live in the city, I wake up feeling exhausted sometimes and feeling like something is lacking. And I don't know if you can hear those birds and crickets, but it's just such a magical thing to wake up to. So my answer would be it's very experiential, and for me to try to tell you all the positive changes would be not even nearly as close to how I wish for the message to come across. It's just a very beautiful, blissful feeling. Being able to go for your gut, follow your instincts, and just leave the material world, be off the grid, and enjoy everything that nature has to offer. There's so many, I think that's Cebu. And how has it changed me? I want to be a little bit more concrete. Well, I'm definitely more calmer. I think I've mentioned that. I'm definitely more physically active. I put in the hours. I do yoga every day. Actually, we're gonna be going to yoga from here, so that's why I do need to cut this as well into 3, because I do have activities all throughout the day. So perhaps after this video, depending on the time length, I will add a yoga clip. And it's changed me in so many. I spend less for sure. I wake up earlier. I go to sleep earlier. And the topics I talk about, I think that's quite important. It used to be all about business before, and finances and profit. And the topics now are definitely different. It's more, I don't know, it's more real. Like, how are you making money these days, living this island life? How's your health? How's your family? It's just, I feel that it's more grounding anyway, and everything I've shared here is very personal to me. And I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was all positive vibes. I hope you can feel the love that I'm sending through the screen. And I hope to catch you on part 2 on the next video. I love you all. Mwah. Ciao for now. Let's go get some nice sounding waves. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Oh my gosh, you're so cutie. Where'd you go?